All right. Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, coming at you on October 25th, 2025 at 9 a.m. You too can join us live from the Hive every Saturday morning where we cover these topics about cryptozoology, aliens, shadow entities, ghosts, everything, interdimensional beings, all this weird stuff. So join us Saturday mornings, and we will go over that stuff with you. And then after that, we do a segment called Weird with It, which is also with a combination of me exploring ideas, conspiracy theories like Tartaria, flat Earth, young Earth conspiracies, mud flood, stuff like that. And I also participate in attempting to utilize woo powers, if you like that kind of stuff. That's what I really want to lean more into is doing at least once a month doing a video where I try to do something. And um I've done pyrokinesis, I've done telekinesis. What else have I done, guys? There's a whole playlist of me learning how to do all this stuff, right? um and the the segment we're doing today later on is going to be about that. It is spooky season here live, which means that this is like around Christmas time or something when this is getting published as a standalone video, which is fine. This particular topic is not specifically like a Halloween topic or anything, but since it's almost Christmas time, I'm probably gonna uh, revisit something I do every year around Christmas time because there is a Christmas cryptid, but it's not any that you think about. It's not something you would be like. It's not like a reindeer Wendigo or Christmas elves sightings or anything like that. It's what the Christmas cryptid actually is Mothman. And people don't think about Mothman like that generally, but Mothman, his final appearance in Point Pleasant, or his final official appearance associated with the Mothman string of sightings, the Silver Bridge collapse. That was Christmas traffic, right? The imagery of that bridge collapse is presents floating down the river. So I'm sure I'm going to do something. I don't know if I'm going to do anything like that, but when I do stuff like that, I usually invite people like captive desk there, Dave, my fellow cryptozoologist. Strange American Strangeness. I would love to have you come on for that. Consider this invitation because, yeah, you seem like you'd be into some Mothman stuff, and yeah, so reindeer go, yeah. That's what Bigfoot Santa has pulled his sleigh. Oh my gosh. I need fan art of that, please. We need I'll put it on a t-shirt if I get a really good one. I have down you see the down below Cryptic Corner t-shirts. I'm not wearing one now because I'm wearing this adorable top that Ryan made me. Look at this cute top because I'm gonna show it off. I've probably wore this 100 times on the show since but yeah, it's cute. It's adorable. I'm gonna wear it like all the time. Love you, girl. Anyway, but today's topic is not any of that Mothman stuff or whatever, and I'll send out invitations officially too for that. But let us get into today's topic, which is phantom hitchhikers, or they don't necessarily have to be hitchhikers. Phantom riders is generally the thing, but they could be people that like look like they've been in an accident or something too. Isn't it? I love it. Ooh, it's so cute. I appreciate you, girl. No, you're here for the Phantom Hitchhiker right on time. Man, it's peaking now. I'm trying to balance out the distance and how loud I talk. When I get excited, my voice goes up, and then I get like normal talking, like I'm like, oh, what about this and that? Then it goes down. So I gotta learn. That's a me thing. That's a me thing I gotta work on. That's a flow thing. Ooh. Yeah, that answers your question, Jason. Jason from Dragons and Genesis podcast. We need to get together and do some stuff again too, baby. If you have time, I don't know if you're still traveling. Let's talk about dingoes. Jason owns a dingo. Santa is a cryptid. Changed my mind. Absolutely. Paul Bunyan is a kaiju. Changed my mind. All right. Phantom Hitchhikers, stop distracting me from the topic, guys. Look at those Bigfoot tracks. All the gift. I need to go back into the gift memberships. Holy shit! Because who's your buddy who always comes out for me? I love you, baby. I should send you some stuff for being such a good boy. Gave some gift memberships to Ryan. Yay! I'm glad that she got that. To Fox. To that's AR's in there, but that's not. My dad's cat gets possessed 3 a.m. Okay, we're talking about that video before with Jill. Yeah, my Halloween special. To Bryce, Tilting Windmill. To my girl Kelly, Detroit Atheist Queen. To Chrissy. To Kip. To Godless Granny. To Robin Webster. To Book Lover. Yeah. Woo, woo. And yeah, about the Halloween special clip that we just watched. I can't talk about it here, but like, yeah, that was one of my favorite interactions for this like Halloween themes. That dude tripping out on witches with cats. That was a hilarious conversation. Bring your dingo on stream. Yeah, I want to see a dingo on stream. His is an American dingo, though, or sometimes called a Carolina dog. And they're rare, almost extinct, I think. But the red wolf is even more extinct. But you can't have a red wolf as a pet. You can have an American dingo. All right, let's do this. So first things first. The channel that we're looking at today is Diesel and Demons. I can't think of a more perfect channel to cover this topic with than Diesel and Demons. So we're going to let them break down some trucker stories about phantom hitchhikers. This is fairly new too, so they have a lot of videos about the horrors of trucking. So I'll subscribe. Yep, and if you like this story, come out and subscribe to Diesels and Demons. Well, we're done there. All right, let's crack it open. All right, and so our story begins.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight's video is going to be different. Instead of me narrating, you're going to hear these stories directly from someone who has lived them. His name is James. He's in his early 50s, lives out in California, and has spent decades driving the highways through long, lonely nights. Over the years, James has heard things over the CB radio that are truly chilling, and tonight, he's going to share them with you. These are his memories, his words, and his stories.
My name's James. I'm 52 years old, and I've spent more nights on the road than I can.
Hold on, is this coming through the wrong mic? Ah, that's much better. Oh, goodness. Yes, thank you. Okay, carrying on. I've been sounding like shit this whole time, and y'all couldn't tell me. I kind of noticed it when I was listening, and I was like, why does it sound so echoey? Please let me know when I sound like shit, though. All right. Should I do the whole intro over again? How far into this are we? No, I'll just deal with it.
Can even count. Now, seemed to follow you, broken only by the hum of the engine and the occasional sweep of wind against the
No,
cab.
you're okay. I'm just teasing about not saying anything. Yeah, I would not really come down on my audience for not telling me my audio was sounding like shit. Hell, half of my production, my audio sounded like shit, and I didn't expect you all to. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. We're almost on 5 years of Cryptic Corner. Let's see, what episode of Cryptic Corner are we on now? Let me have a look here. Duplicate, damn it. There we go. What episode of Cryptic Corner? I'll take your time. Because I know that Cryptic Corner has been going on for 208 episodes of Cryptic Corner.
Midnight had just passed, and fatigue was beginning to weigh on him when his headlights illuminated a strange sight ahead. Standing just beyond the shoulder of the road was a woman, dressed in a long flowing white gown that shimmered faintly in the beam of his headlights. At first he thought it must be a trick of the light, or maybe even his mind playing games with him, but as he drew closer, she raised her hand, signaling for him to stop. Carl's first instinct was hesitation. What was a woman doing out here, miles away from the nearest town, in the middle of the night? But something about her fragile posture compelled him to pull over.
I've never been accused of being AI. Oh, actually, I should say I get accused of being a recording because my day job is doing phone service stuff, pharmaceutical phone service stuff. So I people will often start dialing numbers in my ear because my flow of my voice when I'm answering the phone and being all professional and shit. But I don't do that on here because this is my breakaway from that. So I act like a spaz. But I've watched your videos, so I kind of get you get that professionalism flow. I think Hammerson Peterson said that Hammerson Peters? I can't Peterson. Anyway, they also said people accused them of being AI. But some of the art that they were using was AI.
She climbed into the cab quietly, and as she settled into the passenger seat, he noticed how unnaturally pale she was. The dim glow from the dashboard lights gave her skin an almost porcelain-like quality, and her eyes...
Just say she was a baddie, we'll get it.
Though gentle, seemed distant, as though her thoughts were far away. She spoke softly, her voice barely above a whisper, thanking him for stopping. She told him she needed a ride just a few miles down the road. Carl tried to make small talk, asking if she lived nearby or if her car had broken down, but her answers were brief and vague. She kept her gaze fixed on the darkness outside the window, as if she was waiting to see something out there that only she knew. As the miles passed, an odd chill filled the cab. Carl tried adjusting the heater, but no matter what he did, the air felt heavy and cold, as if the warmth was being swallowed. Finally, she told him to stop near a particular mile marker up ahead.
At some point, we're going to take a break from this trucker section, because there's one that has Resurrection Mary on it, and as I was like, she's the quintessential. Well, that, I guess I should say, for me, and it's probably because of the Unsolved Mysteries episode that I grew up with, she's like the Phantom Hitchhiker, Phantom Rider.
Relieved the ride would soon end, Carl nodded and glanced toward her seat to tell her they were almost there. But in that instant, his stomach dropped. The seat was empty. The door had never opened. There had been no sound, yet she was gone as if she had never been there at all. His knuckles tightened around the steering wheel as a wave of dread rushed through him. He slammed on the brakes, pulled to the side of the road, and scrambled out of the cab. The night air was sharp and cold.
Well, I bet Hammerson Peters gets Hammerson Peterson all the time too, because I just called him that like twice, I think. Thank you for clarifying the name. We've covered their content good too. I love their Nahanni Valley stuff. The Nahanni Valley lore is like epic on a cryptozoological scale. It's basically like a Pleistocene valley with all these strange holdovers. So we should revisit the Nahanni Valley sometime.
The road was empty and both impression of someone who had been sitting there only moments ago. Shaken, Carl drove on, but the memory of what had happened refused to leave him. A few days later,
I'm gonna say this like my personal experience, right? I have never like noticed unless someone was like in a pool or something that they left a print where they were sitting. Interesting approach. I absolutely hate this number thing on the ats that's got our ats on there. Um, yeah, John Hudson, that's absolutely true. You've been with me since the very beginning. You and Sandy. Who else has been here since the beginning? Um, Aunt Jer, were you here from the beginning? I think you might have been. So I have like a good base. Brian Stevens. You avoid Hammers and Peters in general because it sounds painful. Hammerson Peters is a Canadian folklorist. And I would say, yeah, also a cryptozoologist. Yeah, Maya's been in here for a long time. Maya was in my coming out stream.
unable to keep the experience to himself, he shared his story at a diner where truckers often gathered to swap tales of the road. He spoke cautiously, half fearing he would be laughed at, but instead the diner fell silent. An older driver sitting nearby leaned forward and nodded slowly, saying he too had once picked up a young woman in a white dress along that same stretch of highway years ago, only for her to vanish without a trace. Others at the counter confirmed similar tales, each one describing a mysterious woman in white who appeared on moonlit nights and never.
Yes, my channel was called Brainbug back at the very beginning. Absolutely. I interacted with like the atheist community under that name forever. I was on The Perspective, where we took calls about stuff like this. It was a call-in show, and we took calls about basically what the opening for CrypticCorner is, the paranormal and unexplained and forbidden knowledge and all this stuff. We took calls about that. I was also on I was on a couple of call-in shows. I was on what's the one on the ACA what I was on, and I had the praying mantis on my microphone. I used to do that like as a gimmick. And I used to raise like exotic insects and stuff. My channel, like before it was anything else, that's what it was me talking about raising insects and doing like vivariums and stuff. And then I just kind of moved away from that. But I don't even do that anymore. The only pet bugs I have right now is sweet Caroline here. And and she lives inside that skull. And she's a good girl. And she likes bugs to eat. And she's been with me for, well, so she's oh, sorry about that. She's a black hole spider. And she is probably reaching the end of her life too. I'm going to have a good long cry when she passes. I promise you that, because I've had her since 2022, and they don't live very long. They can live up to 5 years. They're really long lived for a spider, for a true spider. Only mostly mygalomorph spiders like tarantulas that live that long. Love the mantis on the mic. Was just thinking I miss it just today. We actually had a mantis in our bushes at the old house right before we moved, and I thought about putting it on my mic. I'm like, you know what? It's wild. Leave it wild. Because I didn't know what species it was. Back home, I could catch a Chinese mantis, and I don't feel bad, right? Because Chinese mantises are invasive, and they're a dime a dozen, and put it on my mic and be fine. But I really like to have exotic ones. Like I'd have the rainforest mantises and stuff. Is what I used to have. If you go back and look, prepare to see me looking quite a bit different. If you go back that far, though. An Entropy fan. I know Bree from The Perspective. Yeah, The Perspective. That was the call-in show that I did. Uh-huh. Yes. Maya misses the mantis. Sandy loved the mantis. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't, mantises, at least raising them, from little bitty, it takes a lot of work, and it's very little. If you can't get an established market for them, there's very little reward in return for it. It's because mantises live for like about a cycle. Tropical mantises can live a bit longer. They can live about 2 years. So, like, having to in the mortality rate among the nymphs is, oh my gosh. So you have to buy them at just the right age. I don't suffer from insanity. The contrary, for the most part, I enjoy it. Fun fact: black hole spiders have a web so strong that not even a light can escape it. Yeah, that's what I keep her here for. If anybody breaks in my house, all I have to do is point this at them, pop the lid off, and it'll suck them right in, and we will be safe, and no one will know what happened to them. Yeah, too much like kidnapping the mantis. 5 giggles. I saw a praying mantis trying to enter the emergency room doors one time. Maybe it needed medical attention. Yeah, American strangeness. I was on the phone. I was on the phones on The Perspective when I met you. John Vapiano says, your epic takedown of Darth Dawkins. It doesn't take much to take down Darth Dawkins, though. Presuppositional apologetics are weak sauce. Prime mover falls on its face at the first, criteria. Everything that begins to exist has a creator. What? So circular. Was distracted. We distracted you with bugs. Yeah, I'm all off topic. I'm supposed to be talking about truckers, phantom passengers. And we're like 5 minutes in of a 51-minute video. As a matter of fact, since we did this first story here, I'm going to switch over to this video real quick. And this is from, this channel's way, way bigger. But this is, paranormal.
Do you ever hear strange noises?
And yeah, we'll subscribe to that. So paranormally listed, 143K subscribers, 285 videos. And they also did a Phantom Hitchhiker, and this one is the one that has Resurrection Mary in it. So we're gonna go pop over here real quick.
Before today's video, don't forget to subscribe so you'll miss out on the latest videos. If you want to see a case or topic covered by Paranormally Listed, then go to criminallylisted.com and fill out the questionnaire under the Suggest a Case tab.
About mantises again, real quick. Just want to, because I saw some comments here. Around here in the Southwest, there's so much folklore about praying mantises, or like bad luck. I should do a video. Like owls are bad luck down here too, and witches and stuff. But like, it's kind of funny because you get to know, like when I working in offices and stuff, get to know some of the local Latino population, which I grew up in, upper Midwest as Mayo, so I didn't know very many Latinas or Latinos, but all these Latina girls would come to me because I knew what I did. They actually put my videos up on like the big screen in the break room. It was so funny, but they all come to me like and talk to me about how their grandma was a witch, a la lechuza. Yeah, and tell you about how she'd talk to the owls and stuff. It's funny. And they'd like, you have to kill a mantis if it lands on you, or else you'll have bad luck. All right. Back to the phantom hitchhikers. Yes. Is there a genre of phantom insects? We've covered some cryptid bugs so far. We have. What bugs have we covered? We covered the mantis men. I know that. And we talked about giant spiders, like ad nauseum. We've talked about giant spiders just in North America. Talked about giant spiders in the Congo. One of my second video was about Jabba Fofi. I can't say it properly, and yeah.
Imagine you're driving down a street late at night and you see some poor, lonely hitchhiker. Because you're a good person, you decide to pick them up. As you drive, you chit-chat, and then they disappear. It would be confusing, anxiety-inducing, and scary. Well, some people have experienced just that. Number 3, Mr. M and the Mystery Man. Let's take our first ride to northwest England to pick up a mysterious man walking alone. Specifically, let's venture down a coastal road between Ainsdale and Southport in Myerside. The road is close to the beach. An important geographic feature of this road is that on either side of the road are sandhills. Remember this fact, it's important. Dr. Rob Gandy researches paranormal encounters on the roads.
Is that the Joro spider you're talking about? Right-handed Jedi? Or right-handed Jedi hole? Oh my goodness, right-handed Seth. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get cut down with a red lightsaber for saying that kind of shit. But yeah, like the Joro spider would be the South American, or no, you said South America. That's just southern, like I was thinking southern U.S. because they had the invasion of the Joro spider. People were like, oh, it's gonna kill all the birds. And no, and I'm gonna South American bird-eating spider though. There's a video called something meme spider, Return of the Meme Spider or whatever, talking about people oversizing giant tarantulas.
Kingdom. He tells the following story that happened to someone known only as Mr. M in 1983. Mr. M was driving on a road when he saw a man walking down the street. He described the man as being in his mid-30s. He had dark eyes and facial stubble, and he was wearing a parka-style coat. It was a rainy night, so the man was wet. He had no bags and no companion. At least, there was no visible companion. Mr. M offered the man a ride, and he accepted the offer. As they drove, they chatted. Mr. M thought that his passenger had a Southport accent. He also had a troubled expression on his face. Then the man, who had been walking down the street companionless, asked if his girlfriend could join them in the car. Obviously, that was slightly confusing, but Mr. M agreed. Mr. M stopped the car, and the passenger got out. He walked towards the back of the car, and then promptly disappeared. It took Mr. M about 20 seconds to realize that the man was gone and not returning. He looked around for him, but he was nowhere to be seen. This was even more confusing when you remember that sandhills were on either side of the road, so there was nowhere for the man to go. He had vanished into thin air. Number
That kind of sounds like a robbery.
2. Lydia, the Phantom Hitchhiker. Let's drive down High Point Road in Jamestown, North Carolina, where we might find a ghostly hitchhiker named Lydia. More than one person has seen Lydia, and their stories are often similar. The first account of this particular hitchhiker being referred to as Lydia.
Lydia, like from Beetlejuice. Like Winona Ryder, I bring things full circle in the Hive, right?
Appears in the book, An Illustrated Guide to Ghosts and Mysterious Occurrences in the Old North State, published in 1959. The story starts with a young woman wearing white who is seen beneath a bridge, waving to drivers as they pass. So of course a driver picks her up, and then they talk to her as he drives her to High Point, where she
be picking up baddies under the bridge. Would you, like Bugbot's been asking, but would you pick up a hitchhiker? Actually, I'm gonna do a poll. Let's do a poll. If it was legal, or if because this isn't about legality, right? I just want to know, like, just in general, would you pick up someone you saw hitchhiking?
Liz. When they reach her home, the young woman disappears after exiting the vehicle. After she disappears, the driver decides to go to the front door. An older woman answers the door, and when the driver asks about the hitchhiker, the woman says they're referring to Lydia, and she died years ago. The hypothesis about this young woman is that she died on the bridge where she's seen hitchhiking. She also often tells drivers that she's coming home from a dance.
Pick up, yeah. Just pick them up, not like, hey, take them back to your place or anything. Just pick them up. Take them where they want to go. Let's not get too frisky now. Yeah, there's states where it's not legal to pick up hitchhikers. In Missouri, it's not legal to pick up hitchhikers. Yeah.
Two researchers, Michael Renegar and Amy Greer, have been trying to figure out who this woman, Lydia, could be. They published their findings in the book, Looking for Lydia, the 30-year search for the Jamestown hitchhiker. They believe it's a woman named Annie L. Jackson, who was born in 1885 and worked at a cigar factory. In June 1920, 35-year-old Annie Jackson was a passenger in a vehicle driving down High Point Road. The car flipped. The driver,
what year?
C.
She was born in
Hutchinson,
1885, and she was supposed to be young, so that would have been like 1905 or something, but sometime between 1900 and 1910 for her to be as described as a young woman, right? So yeah, she was born in so car accidents at that time. I mean, they could definitely be fatal. But she'd be freaking a girl out from that time period driving 35 miles an hour down a back road, right? You'd be freaking her out about that.
ran from the scene, but was later arrested. The other passengers, Mr. Cross and Miss Nettie Luthko, were hurt but survived. Tragically, Annie hit her head and she was killed. Of course, the problem is that the ghostly hitchhiker tells people that her name is Lydia. The researchers wonder if Annie's middle initial, L, could provide a possible explanation. They could not determine what the L stood for, but they developed a theory. Annie's maternal grandmother's name was Lucinda, but she was called Lydia as a nickname. They wonder if her middle name is a nod to her grandmother. However, if Annie Jackson is
There's so many names that are more likely than Lydia for the middle name of this ghost, though. I think the name Lynn would have been more common at that time. There's also Lisa. Just there's other names that are. I'm not saying Lydia is uncommon, but there's other names that are definitely more common. Lee is a common middle name. Lou, Lou for a girl especially. What did it say her? Annie Lou Jackson sounds a lot more likely than Annie Lydia Jackson, Annie Lee Jackson. I'm not saying that that's true, that's the case, but just they're connecting dots that I think aren't necessarily there.
The Lydia Hitchhiker from this story, there are a few inconsistencies between the tale and the actual event.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Hitchhikers, but long before. Yeah, you can go back to ancient Greek and Greek lore, and there's tales of a vanishing hitchhiker that gets up on the hay behind the farmer as he's driving his stuff to town and picks him up, and lets him sit up. He's sitting up on the hay behind him, and he tells him some fantastical story, and then the guy turns around and he's gone. Right? It's a trope that goes way back to, like, I would say as long to the invention of the wheel. Once you had by the point that we had a ways to travel without having to hoof it, as long as we've had that ability, I think there's been hitchhikers, and I think that there's been, and as long as we've had that, there's been phantom hitchhikers who disappear.
For one, the ghost hitchhiker seemed to be younger than 35 years old, the age Annie was when she was killed. Also, Annie was not on her way home from a dance on the night she was killed in the car accident. The drivers go home to find her mother, but Annie's family was already dead by the time she was killed. There is one other problem. The bridge that is now called Lydia's Bridge was built in 1916. However, the bridge where the car accident occurred is hidden in overgrowth, and the road was rerouted to go under a different bridge now. So she's not standing under the bridge where Annie died. So maybe it's not Annie. Who knows?
Who knows?
Number 1, Resurrection Mary.
This one's from Chicago. Should we bring up the map? I think we should. Is it map time? It's the map. It's the map. It's the map. I don't have to do much editing on this video. I'm just having fun at this point. Where are we at even? The hell we doing in the Sundabands? Alright, as you can see, this is my map that I keep of places that we have visited in Cryptic Corner. North America obviously gets a lot of my attention, especially the US, because that's where I live, and that's where a lot of my audience is. But the UK gets a lot of spots too, right? And Resurrection Mary. It's gonna be in Chicagoland. Is that it? No, I think it's north of. That's Bray Road, where the Beast of Bray Road is. Resurrection Mary is supposed to be in Chicagoland. I thought I had it marked, but we'll look it up. Resurrection Cemetery. Is it in Clinton? No, that's not even in the right state. All right, we're going to go back to the video. They'll tell us where it's at.
Never made it to her destination. Intrigued and unsettled, Carl dug deeper and soon learned the legend that
Oh,
haunted
hold
that
on.
road.
That's...
Our final passenger for today's adventures can be found walking on Archer Avenue in Willow Springs, Illinois.
Okay, Willow Springs. Willow Springs. And we're going to save this as a favorite. Yeah, it was too far north. I thought this was already saved. This is the cemetery, though. It's not like rural or anything. This is pretty residential. But girl's like, hey, give me a ride to the cemetery. You actually go in the cemetery. We'll come back to you, Phantom Truckers.
The story is about a woman named Mary who died between the late 1920s and the early 1930s. Like Lydia, she was supposedly leaving a dance at the O. Henry Ballroom, which is now called the Willowbrook.
Kristen Slays, I missed you. I saw you left the transposition server. And I want to reach out to you. I sent you a friend's request on Discord. I just wanted to check in with you, doll, see if you were okay. Is this Paranormal Scholar? I don't know. He is a true crime show. No, this isn't Paranormal Scholar. This is something paranormally. Yeah, paranormally listed.
Ballroom.
Do y'all want me to cover Paranormal Scholar? We can do a piece on something that they cover too. Concordia Cemetery. Yeah, I didn't go into it, but we went past it. I looked at it.
She fought with her boyfriend, which prompted her to start walking home. But tragically, she was struck by a car and she was killed. She was supposedly killed between the Ballroom and Resurrection Cemetery, which is on Archer Avenue. One of the more interesting parts of Mary's story is that she's not only found on the street waiting for a ride home, but she often spends time dancing with men at the ballroom before they offer to drive her home. Men have even reported holding her hand and kissing her, saying that she was very cold to the touch. Interestingly, she always disappears in the same place, which is when the car is driving by.
Also, thank you for doing the gift membership.
Resurrection
Cemetery.
We were
just there. Yep.
Jerry Palace is a man who said that he experienced such an encounter with a beautiful woman in the late 1930s. He said he was at the Liberty Grove Hall and Ballroom, which some believe was the O. Henry Ballroom's previous name. He danced with a young woman and shared a kiss with her. At the end of the night, she accepted a ride home from him. She requested that they drive on Archer Avenue, which was odd because it was in the opposite direction of the address that she gave him. On the drive, she asked Jerry to stop the car at Resurrection Cemetery. She then got out and walked towards the main gate. She then disappeared. Jerry was obviously confused, so he went to the address that the woman gave him. Like the story about Lydia, when he arrived there, the woman said that her daughter had died 3 years prior. The story of this ghost comes up at different points in history at various venues in Chicago. For example, there's a claim of a young woman in 1973 at Harlow's. The woman, who was dancing, wore a faded wedding gown. However, she wasn't spotted entering...
What's a faded wedding gown? Because wedding gowns are white. You can't get much more faded than white, right? Am I thinking about this in an incorrect way?
Exiting the venue. In that same year, 1973, a cab driver entered Chet's Melody Lounge in search of a blonde woman. The driver claimed that the woman didn't pay for the cab ride, but no woman matching the description entered the club. Another story from a woman named Janet Collins.
Wait a second, that was just a woman who didn't pay her cab fare and it's being roped into this lore? I don't think that's... Nah, we're not doing that. If some woman slipped or dipped on their cab fare...
occurred in 1989 when she was driving with her friend and they were passing Resurrection Cemetery. She claims that a woman wearing a white dress jumped in front of their vehicle. They thought they hit her with the car, but there was no sound or any evidence of the accident, and when they got out to check on the woman, there was nobody there. Much like Lydia, there have been many questions and theories about who this woman could be.
Yeah, girl, Kristen, I was just just concerned for you. I want to make sure you're okay. Yay, you accepted? All right, we'll chat after the show. ChatGPT has never actually seen a wedding gown. So a faded one makes sense. You think the ChatGPT wrote a script? Because this is a person reading this. I mean, it is a person. It's not. It doesn't sound like AI to me anyway. The White Witch of Niles Canyon. What's that? Is that fiction or is that real folklore? I vent my mental health issues to chat. I do too, babe. I do too. Right? Ride and dash doesn't count. Yeah, I'm gonna dress up as like if I'm in the Chicago area and I need to ditch out on a cab fare, I'm gonna resurrection Mary and I'm gonna put on a faded wedding dress and a faded wedding dress, and I'm going to get a little smoke machine to put in my purse, and then like dip on my cab fares. So let's end the poll here. So would you pick up a Hitchhiker? 61% yes, 39% no. Okay, so when I was, I want to say I was 17. That was when I was, and then we were teenagers. I don't know. It was me and my ex, but we got on Christmas Day. We broke down on a back road, right? And it was freezing because it was Christmas in December in Missouri. I mean, and we were freezing and hitchhiking, or we weren't hitchhiking. Our car broke down, right? So we sort of popped out and started walking. We didn't have any choices. It wasn't before cell phones, but it was. It wasn't like a common thing for people our age, for teenagers to have a cell phone. At least like our parents didn't give us cell phones. Regardless, we were walking and we didn't have a ride. And when people would pass us, we'd put our thumbs out to try to get them to pick us up, and no one would pick us up. So we walked like 14 miles because it's illegal to pick up hitchhikers in Missouri. It sucked and it was cold, and we weren't dressed for it because we were going to a Christmas party. Lasai.
One theory is that she's Mary Bergovi, a woman of Polish background who was interred at Resurrection Cemetery at site number 9819 in section MM. She was killed in a car accident in 1934. However, she was killed in the downtown loop, not on Archer Avenue. But perhaps because she's interred at the cemetery, she wants the drivers to take her home, so that's why she asked them to take her on Archer Avenue. There's another account of a sighting where a driver went by and saw a woman with blonde hair standing at the cemetery gates. When he returned with the police, she was gone, but the bars of the gate looked like they had been pried apart where the woman had been standing. There were also accounts of a blonde woman wandering around the cemetery at night. But this doesn't match Bergovi's description, as her hair wasn't blonde, so maybe it wasn't her.
Yeah, Resurrection Mary's supposed to be blonde. My Resurrection Mary?
Proposed by local historian Frank Ondergash is that the ghost, known as Resurrection Mary, is a young teenager named Anna Norkus. Anna was born in Cicero, Illinois in 1914. Her name Ona is Anne in Lithuanian, and the middle name that she gave herself was Maria, or Mary. On the night, July 20th, 1927, Anna was at a dance celebrating her 13th birthday. She matches the description of the phantom hitchhiker that people see. She was blonde and thin. To further lend credibility to this theory, she was being driven home around 1:30 a.m. They did drive on Archer Avenue and drove by Resurrection Cemetery. Anna's father was driving that night. Anna was killed when her father didn't see a 25-foot deep railroad cut and drove into it. However, some people feel that the ghost isn't connected to any real person. Many people have pointed out in the research, men usually claim to see Resurrection Mary. They wonder if it's because she's purposely choosing to reveal herself to the men, or if she's a figment of the imagination of lonely men who travel alone late at night. Whoever these three hitchhikers are,
Lonely men. That's a really reflective dress you're wearing there, madam.
and however they make themselves known, it's clear that many people are convinced that they have picked up real people. They had conversations with them, and they describe their facial features and clothes. Some have even claimed to touch them. Whether these ghosts are people who experience a tragic ending or they're cautionary tales for the rest of us, they are certainly keeping people guessing who they are and what their message could be. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting.
That was
if you did find it interesting, please make sure you subscribe. We'll have a new video about the paranormal every week.
Okay. And we subscribed already, but it's just not showing subscribe there because, yeah, you can see we subscribed there. All right, paranormally listed. And let's get back over here.
Decades earlier, a young bride If anything, it deepened the unease gnawing at him. The idea that he had unknowingly carried a restless spirit, one caught between worlds, left him shaken in a way no near miss on the highway ever had. He couldn't explain the cold air that filled the cab, the faint impression left on the seat, or the overwhelming sadness in her eyes. All he knew was that what he had experienced could not be dismissed as exhaustion or imagination. In the lonely stretches of America's highways, where the veil between the living and the dead seems thinner, Carl had crossed paths with a ghostly soul reliving her final journey again and again, bound to a destiny that was cruelly stolen from her. And though he would continue to drive those long roads for years to come, he would never again pass that mile marker without glancing at the side of the highway, half expecting to see the vanishing woman in white. Raymond had been a truck driver for more than 15 years, and in all his time on the road, he had come across more
Man,
than
they just popped from story to story really quick on this one. I think I sped this one up about 50% too, though, didn't I?
fair share of strange sights, but nothing falls, no accidents.
So, I mean, the man vanished. Um, if the story had been, yeah, we pulled up to the hospital and I ran inside to get help and we got back out there and the guy was gone, that would be, yeah, I'd be like, okay, that would happen. But yeah, him vanishing like in mid driving, and I think that's a big part of the Phantom Hitchhiker folklore in general is they vanish while you're moving. If you stop and let them out, or you stop and they get out and they vanish. Sure, there's a story there, but it's like the typical Phantom Hitchhiker is that they disappear while you're still moving, or that you pull up to the place and as soon as you stop and look over, they're gone.
No emergencies reported that night. The officers who arrived to question him gave him measured looks as he explained again and again what he had seen, how real it had been, how vivid the blood, the smell, the sound of the man's broken voice begging for help. One older policeman finally pulled him aside and said quietly, "You're been driving trucks long
Ooh,
enough."
it's one with a kid. Creepy kids are like, the best. Creepy. Uh, this scene, what it's showing on the screen, the movie this reminds me of is Pet Cemetery, obviously. This is a pivotal moment from Pet Cemetery. If that's one of those log trucks.
To know that the road could play cruel tricks on tired eyes, but what he experienced on a lonely back highway one autumn night was something no amount of the same time.
Yeah. And he set a precedent in horror, Ember, which gave us the freaking epic log truck scene from Final Destination, which is absolutely one of the best scenes in modern horror. That log truck scene. Yeah, but King loved to write about truckers. Mm-hmm.
Shivers crept down Jacob's spine as he stepped out into the cool night air. The fog seemed to thicken around him, and for a moment he could hear nothing but the ticking of his truck's engine and the faint rustle of trees in the distance.
Yeah, and John, I agree. It would be make more sense for men to go in and buy Kotex just to pretend that they have a girlfriend.
He approached cautiously, holding out a hand, speaking gently as if to a scared animal. But with every step closer, something about the child's stillness unsettled him. There was no trembling, no
Well, for this story, it's confession time. Okay, so when I was a teenager, I was like really into horror and Halloween and stuff, and we lived way out in the country, in a little town called Warren, Missouri. Actually, I don't know anybody who lives there now. It's a town with like less than 100 people. It might be less than 30 people. It's a tiny, tiny town, but it's on a stretch of highway between two somewhat bigger towns between that are about a few thousand people. So people drive up and down through there. So uh, me and my brother had I had a like it was like a theater mask, just a plain white mask, but it was I painted it with a skull pattern and wore this long black wig with it and put on I put on a pair of brown coveralls and he had one he put on he painted with a like a jack-o'-lantern pattern and had a black wig on and his coveralls were black and we'd go out and just we'd stand there by the side of the road holding like lawn equipment like I'd hold like a shovel, right, and he'd hold hedge clippers and we just stand there by the side of the road, not right by the side of the road, but like kind of up on the hill, up on the bank, and we just stand there and watch people drive by. And there was a little turnaround up the road, so uh, they would go up to the turnaround and come back, and we'd like dip, and they'd get out of their car and shine their lights around looking for us. They're like, "What the fuck was that?" And that's what we did in like October and stuff. Sometimes we just did it in the middle of summer just because we were bored, but we'd have a lot of fun with it. Is that a bad thing to do? Probably. Could we have gotten somebody hurt? Could we have ended up getting shot? Probably. But there's no law to say that I can't stand on a hill close to my house in the country wearing a Halloween costume.
Instinct. His hands shook as destruction, bringing
And then she said, my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack.
them deeper into unfamiliar country lanes. Finally, she asked them to stop near a small graveyard that lay just off the highway, its iron gates looming dark against the night sky. Daniel
Are
slowed
y'all singing Ace of Base too? All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow and all.
to a crawl, headlights sweeping across the crooked headstones, the fog curling low to the ground, and he turned to tell her they had arrived. But the seat beside him was empty.
It's so funny. People are terrified. People are so terrified about this. This would be the best night of my life if that happened to me. If I just gave a ride to a ghost. Oh my god. Confirmation of the afterlife. That's what I'm after. I'm not like no. I must prove the afterlife is not real. If the afterlife is real, bring it on, baby. I want to be part of that. I want to know about it and how it works. I want to study it. I want to understand what's going to happen to me after I shed this mortal coil. What does the future hold? What is after this life for Miss Bumblebee?
Only by the rustle of wind through the trees and the creak of the iron gate. No figure in white moved among the stones. No sobbing echoed through the dark.
Alright, we're going to stop there. We don't need a CB Radio Phantom. This is a good place to stop for Cryptic Corner for today. Alright, so when it comes to Phantom Hitchhikers, what do you all think? You think it's people playing pranks trying to get a paying for their cab fare? Phantom brides, and I love when they ask to be taken to the cemetery and they disappear. That's my favorite part about Phantom Hitchhiker stories, is when they ask to be taken to the cemetery or the hospital, but usually it's the cemetery. Or they ask to be taken home, and then when you drive past the cemetery, they're like, oh, there's an episode of Supernatural about that kind of mixes the Phantom Hitchhiker with the weeping woman who cries, Lorna, and also mixed with the woman in white for a... Yeah, so there's like 3 different types of supernatural archetypes all woven together there, and they do overlap a lot. So a weeping woman doesn't necessarily have to be on the side of a highway. She's just a woman that you hear cry and you see crying, and it's a very Lorna is a very Latin American sort of supernatural entity. Mostly Mexico, I think, is that. But there's videos where you see people reacting to even pranks of the Lorna. I hope I'm saying that right. Lorna. Lorna. I hope that double L snags my tongue up. Anyway. There's one, yeah, we covered that a few weeks ago, the woman in white in Florida. But the woman in white is another a ghostly apparition. Lolorando is crying, yeah. But, like, there's going to be more of these ghostly women figures as we go along. People are scared of girls. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's just how it is. Oh. Anyway, so as far as tonight's show goes, I hope you had fun. Hope it didn't get too spooky for you, and hope I didn't ramble off topic too much. But please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time.